Hello everyone, so today I have kind of a special episode for you. This is a monster T15 HIFV replay by Arcanego, butchered his name, I'm sorry, on a global ops map, Desert Crossing, which is the first global operations map there was. Now the tank he's playing it's actually quite recent in terms of tank development. After the T90 was made, which was a combination of the best characteristics of the T80U and the T72BM3, I believe, the T80U was found to be too expensive. You could build 3 T72s for the price of one T80, so the T90 was made. The T90 has been in service since, I believe, the 90s, so it's 20 years old at this rate, and judging by the intentions, it looks like it was intending to be little more than a stopgap. So the T14 Armada was made. The Armada has a 3-man crew, I believe. Is it a 2-man crew? I can't remember. It's very fast. It's quite lightweight. It weighs 5 to 10s more than the T80U. And let's just have a look at how unlucky this fucking Abrams is. Ow, man. And look at where Ark's aiming. Right at the drive wheel, keeping him suppressed, keeping him so he can't move out of cover. So the Armada is here now. It is the latest development of an MBT in the world. And it's, in some cases, cheaper than the rest of the world as well. But, sorry Spitfire, what's the T15? Well, if you haven't noticed, the T15 chassis is actually a T15 Armada backwards. So, the engine is in the front, there's a crew compartment at the back. There is 4 missile launchers, and there's a 30mm autocannon as well, with a 57mm upgrade potential later. This is intended to be a combination of a infantry fighting vehicle, which is a vehicle designed for carrying a small group of soldiers, so usually 5 or 6, whereas an APC carries 10 or 12. It's usually very heavily armoured and very heavily armed. Although usually that armour in many cases doesn't account to an absolute crap ton of armour, well, actual steel armour in ERA. Most IFVs today have aluminium, steel armour, coupled by a lot of ERA and stuff. Now, the Terminator series for Russia was a culmination of the development of the idea that MBTs need protection in cities. After the Chechen wars and stuff, to where MBTs were getting absolutely plastered by infantry, they decided that a new vehicle was made. So they got a T72 chassis, they put hellish amounts of composite and ERA on it, gave it a bunch of missile launchers, a pair of 30mm, and there we go. These were terrifying in dealing with infantry and vehicles. And the T15 is basically the concept of that IFV and the Terminator put together. And as such, in Armoured Warfare, it is possibly the most terrifying vehicle in the game that when it comes near you, because its missiles, which I do believe 650 alpha damage, have a 1-second delay between firing. And it just absolutely wrecks people's shit. Now, Arcangelo is one of the best players I know. Like the Sorry Battalion he's in, both have a very high skill gap. Both are regular tournament players, and I have had the pleasure to be playing with Ark for a while now. And he loves the T15. But you know what? While watching his progress, we can also see how he aims at vehicles as well, how he takes them out. Now, for instance, he was fine at the upper plate of that T14, that T15 with missiles. Not many people know. Now you know. He was, when engaging enemy MBTs like that M1A2 SEP V2 at the start of the carrier, he tracked it and also dealing damage as well. And you see that Terminator down there, well, he's had a bad time. Now, the reason why the T15 is such a terrifying vehicle to be up against is that you can't face hug it like other vehicles of the Terminator series. And this is because it's tall, its turret is in the back, it has a very low delay between missiles, it has a high number of hit points, and shooting the turret doesn't do that much damage apart from just damage in the ammo rack. But the T-15 does have some flaws. It is a very good team-based vehicle, but it does quite poor in confined environments and stuff. And also, please do not sit in front of it, as that Thunderbolt has just found out. It's very, very long. It is the longest vehicle in the game by a significant margin. And Jim, what's it about the height? Ah, of course, it uses high explosive rounds as well. And considering this thing's autocannon has no delay, you can get above people and start shooting them into the top of the turret, and they start feeling very self-conscious afterwards. Now there's another M1A2 popping up. It is the best target for him. He's aiming and tracking with the missiles as well, but now Arc is on 16,438 damage in, good grief, a very short amount of time. He's about halfway through the game. And let's look at the situation right now. So the enemy team has both cap circles, but Arc has managed to hold that cap circle for so long that the rest of the team are now coming in, and they're going to hold it as well. Unfortunately, you have a AFK Leopard 2 Evo there. Now, some of the ways to counter the T-15 is usually to have a buddy with you. The vehicle can only concentrate on one enemy at a time due to the fact that missiles in armoured warfare have such a slow tracking rate when they're fired out of the missile. If you're going fast around it, and you can circle it and you can track it, the vehicle is in many cases good as dead. Jinking a lot, tracking it. If you can, if you have to, shoot the gun, shoot the turret ring, and like I said before, please don't stand in front of it. This is the one vehicle in the game that if you stand in front of it, you're going to have a bad time. See, and there's a very unfortunate amount of enemies here. Arc is going to wreck some people's shit. And apparently this M1A2 hasn't learned the message yet. But neither has this Draco. Now, there's such things in life such as groping. There's molestation, and then there's a downright sex dungeon. That Draco has gone to the sex dungeon. Arc's aiming at the turret ring here as well. You see what this Abrams was doing? He would have been able to get behind him. He would have killed Arc, probably. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. You see? Bam! Right into the turret ring. And unfortunately, firing missiles at the turret doesn't work either, in most cases, due to the angles involved. But they can work. It's not recommended. But if you have to, you have to. And I also learned another thing as well watching this replay. Look at all the high explosive he's thrown into the top of the vehicle. The autocannon does so little damage, it's like 40 alpha damage per shot, that if you do 20 of high explosive, there's not much of a difference given that it's a bottomless clip and you can just go pew 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 pew. Your Arc is on 20,000 damage. Like, at this point I would go, okay, this is replay worthy for me. But wait, there's more. I mean, I've already watched this and my mouth is still open at just how much shit this man stirs. Friendly calls and a stealth bomber. It's not exactly the best place you put it in, to be honest. I would have just put it across the airfield. Putting it at an angle like that isn't going to really work, but okay. See, look where he aims. Right in the lower plate. XM1A3, you just had a bad time, man. This is like the Sands from Undertale of vehicles and armoured warfare. You're going to have a bad time. Okay, Challenger 2 ADTU coming up. Okay, let's see. Let's see how much booty cannon we can get. And this is AP to the back of the tank. Dead. It's fucking murderous. I mean, I've actually only recently started playing this, and I was absolutely crap in my pants enjoyment to how much shit you can wreck with this thing. Especially when there seems to be a mentality with people is that they don't know how devastating this thing is. I mean, we've seen it when people go in front of them. Dayan, you're letting my battalion down, man. In all honesty, Dayan should have sat at the top of the ridgeline there and just simply poured missiles down or been a distraction. That was kind of painful. The same for this Draco as well. Like, why are you sitting in front of this thing, man? Now, the enemy team has a really fun habit of making mistakes here. You see that T-15 on their side? He has all the time in the world to kill Ark right now, but he doesn't. And that was a major mistake made by Ark, because that would have saved their team a hell of a lot of trouble. You see, aiming at the lower plate as well. And aiming at the upper plate with high explosive also deals a lot of damage as well, because I think that the upper plate of the T-15 is actually quite thin, so it relies more on the sloping than anything else. And you see now there's a stealth bomber coming in. Now, to be honest, that stealth bomber kind of went in the first place. He should have put it on 9, because that was where all of those MBTs are going. Now this guy's going to get flagged as a team killer by the system. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that, to be honest, but he made the decision at the time. It completely cleared the cap circle. A bit of a controversial move, but he did what he did. For me personally, I still prefer the XM103. I mean, I used to play that all the time in Global Ops pre-patch. It's kind of my favourite tier 10, but when I'm with Ark, I feel like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take the T-15 and I'm gonna wreck people's shit with it. Now there can be a bit of lag disconnection here, poor guy, and not many things other people here. And this is what I call delayed, advanced firing with missiles, in that you fire before the target's there, but when the target pops out, your missile's already there. I use it when hill humping and stuff. So for instance, in the Sheridan, I would fire the missile when I'm on the hill, but then by the time I get on the hill, I now have perfect tracking because the missile's already in the air. I think he just wanted to fire a missile for the fun of it. And victory right there. I have to say that Ark actually carried the team. Now I'm going to try and add the screenshots into the video after this. I'm not sure if it'll work due to the way my Adobe is set up and the fact that I'm absolutely horrible at anything to do with programming or editing. But the screenshots will be in the description regardless, and I encourage you to watch this video again, mute it, and just look at the way how Ark plays. How he tracks weak spots, how he exploits them, and how he absolutely wrecks people's faces. So anyway, this has been me, Spitfire, everyone. If you have a good replay, or if it's just downright funny, send it in. I'll have a look. I'll comment on it. I'll upload it. I encourage replays and stuff, especially ones from subscribers and friends. Anyway, that's it all for now. Take care, everyone, and see you all next time.